Good morning, everyone. I'm Holly Vega. I'm with Military Home Base, and this week we started on Friday because it was the kickoff day for Go Red, and this week is the whole month is bringing awareness to heart disease and heart healthiness and a whole bunch of good stuff about our beautiful heart. But for us, Military Home Base, I get to bring my passion along with my work to our philanthropic work. I'm very blessed. I'm very happy to work for Military Home Base because I get to do this live with y'all every day. Um, but again, we're here to talk about heart disease, not my job. And each day we have a different spouse that is telling their why, because with the American Heart Association, that's a big thing. They want you to share your why. When we share our why, we're sharing our story, we're telling what happened, and it helps save lives. And right now we have over 600,000 people a year that die from heart disease. It's like 1 in 4. For women, it's 1 in 3. So, put yourself in a room with three of your girlfriends and know that they will not be here. That's a hard fact that you have to look at. Also, the number one disease is the CHD, the coronary heart disease, which affects roughly around 300 and something thousand. And that is why Liz is here, because Liz is precious baby. Was affected with heart disease. It's not my story to share. It's my story to hand over a mic to her and say, share with me, please. Share your story. And I'm blessed that my girlfriends are allowing me a chance to give them a voice this week. So, Liz, thank you so much. I know this is not an easy topic to talk about, and I appreciate you this morning coming live with me to share with me and with my audience and many, many people who are going to be touched by your sweet baby girl's story. So share away.
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, thank you, Holly. I appreciate you. So I'm just going to get started because I'm really bad at introductions. So I'm Liz. But I have a daughter. She's 12 months old now. Her name is Nova Grace. When she was actually 29 weeks, when I was 29 weeks pregnant, we went in for a regular ultrasound to see her and found out that her heart rate was only 50 when it should have been 140 plus. They told us that the baby was probably not going to survive and they wanted us to have a C-section, blah, 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 blah. And we just felt like that wasn't the right choice. We felt like there had to be another option. So we asked to have a second opinion and we were directed to another hospital, to a specialist. And she looked at her scans and we did, I don't know how many ultrasounds, hours and hours of EKGs and ultrasounds. And they found that she had something called complete heart block, which was, at first, they thought it might be a death sentence for her, which was really devastating because we were already 29 weeks pregnant and we already had our baby girl. We had her name. Oh my God. Okay. Really, really thought I wasn't going to cry. So sorry.
It's okay, girlfriend. I'm going to be crying with you. So,
and it was just really, really hard. And we thought that was it. And I just kept telling myself, like, this can't be it. No way. We already have our baby. And one of the things they kept saying that just kept hitting so hard was, well, you can try again with the next baby. You can do it again with the next baby. We'll know what to do for the next baby. And I just kept thinking to myself, no, I don't want a next baby. I want this baby. Like, we already have this baby. We've named her. We love her. We've gotten so attached to her. And, it was devastating. And for weeks, we just kind of got in this gloomy bubble and we didn't know what to do because we are military. We didn't have a lot of support close to us. Like, we have friends and stuff like that, but things like that, no matter how old you are, when something hits hard, you want your mommy. So my mommy was not there, although my parents were on the phone with me every single day and they were extremely supportive, but it just wasn't the same. But after a few weeks, luckily, we found a doctor and a solution. And she told us, look, we're going to try different things. We're going to try these things. And when she is born, if we get to that point, if she does survive to that point, we're going to be proactive. We're going to do what we can. So we came up with a plan and we took it every single day by day. We did ultrasound, or I did like the home Doppler 3 times a day at home to monitor her heart rate, and there would be days it would take me 20 minutes to find her heart rate and my heart would just sink because I'd feel like, okay, that's it, we're done. But she powered through, and at 39 weeks, we were delivered via C-section. They told me not to expect much on the operating table. They told me that she probably wouldn't be crying because she'd be so tired. Her heart rate wasn't up to it. That girl came out kicking and screaming. She was mad. She was mad. She was not ready to come out. And she came out kicking and screaming, and they whisked her away to the NICU. And I didn't get to see her till 12, 13 hours later that night after I had recovered. And it was such an overwhelming experience because we walked into the NICU and there's this tiny little baby and she's just hooked up to every single wire you could think of. There's monitors that are beeping constantly and alerting you. If she moves the wrong way, the monitor goes off. And it was just, they hand her to you and you don't even know how to hold her because she's more wires than kid. And it was hard. It was so overwhelming. Those first couple days were just earth-shattering. Everybody has a picture in their head of this perfect moment with the baby and the dad and everybody's happy, and it didn't happen for us. But we had our own version of perfect at that point, and she was here and she was alive, so that's what really mattered to us. And we just started the journey. She was in the NICU for 6 days before they decided to operate. And she did go through a surgery and get a pacemaker placed, and we went home 5 days later, which was amazing. Unfortunately, a week later, we ended up right back in the hospital due to complications from surgery. And from that point, we stayed in the hospital for over 3 months for different complications. Things kept happening. They didn't know if something was caused by something else. They couldn't figure it out. And there were times that I wasn't really 110% sure I was going to get to take my baby home. And it was hard. It was really hard having to sit there and, people could tell that we just had a baby, or we'd be shopping out for clothes or something. And somebody'd be like, "Oh, how old's your baby?" And I just shut down. Most of the time I shut down. Those first couple months, I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't think about it. And it's still hard. It's still very, very hard for us to even think about it. But 102 days later, and lots and lots and lots of pokes, prods, and surgeries. We had 2 additional surgeries while we were in there. Tons of tests. You name it, she had it. But we made it, and we made it out, and she made it out. And thanks to the military, we were able to, have that care that we really, really needed. That we otherwise, I don't know how we would have done it without that point, but we were able to. So the military supporting us through that time. They gave my husband time off for work, which was amazing. Obviously not the full 3 months, there's no way, but he was able to get days off if there was anything that they needed. We reached out and they did for us. That was amazing. So, but 102 days later, we got to bring our little screaming bundle of joy home, which was awesome. It was an amazing feeling, getting to sit on my own couch with my own baby. So, and here we are. She just turned a year. So, she's doing great. She's a normal baby now. So we're grateful for that. So grateful, because originally I really thought that I was not going to have a baby to bring home. And I did not think that I was ever going to get to see her sit up or smile or eat or laugh or anything like that. So truly is a miracle that she's here with us today.
Well, I know on Friday I talked to my girlfriend Stacy, and she's, talked about how she needed to be, and we needed to be, an advocate. If she was not the advocate for her husband, he would have, and his, doctors and stuff at the time would have kind of dismissed it with just heartburn. You're just having heartburn, you're having anaphylaxis, that kind of issue. Take some basically Tums, and you're going to be okay. If it wasn't for her pushing the fact that something's not right, he would not be here today. So she got to that. Then Saturday we talked to my girlfriend in Quantico, Sean, and unfortunately her story was not a very happy ending. However, she talked about getting the medical care and making sure that your children are all tested, and being that person of fighting for knowing your family history, because a lot of people don't talk about it. They shut it down for some reason. Heart disease is just not something people want to talk about. They can talk about everything else except that. So for you, Yes. What do you want our audience to know? What was something I know no one pictures going into a doctor's office and getting the news you got. I cannot imagine not bringing home my baby. I can imagine sitting in a hospital watching my baby have to fight for her life, and I can't even help. So, but what is something that you feel? Because I know you have a lot of things. So we've kind of talked about what is something that you feel that you would want our audience to know, so that if they're pregnant right now
Don't
and they're going
stop.
through your emotions.
Don't stop fighting. It's hard. You go into this just kind of haze of you don't know what's going to happen. And I'm one of those people that I don't really like to talk about it. So I really shut down. I didn't talk to anybody outside of my parents and my husband. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. That was not a healthy thing to do at all. And as much as I am not a huge advocate for, WebMD, do your research. Not so much WebMD, but get to know what it is you're fighting against. Because when you go in, these doctors, as best as they can, they try to describe things to you, but you just sit there and you look at them and you're like, what? So get to know the terminology, get to know the disease, reach out on Facebook. I found a group on Facebook for Nova's specific condition, and it's a family group with parents and survivors that talk about it, and that group helped me a ton. I'm still part of that group. I'm still active in that group. So get proactive, fight, and never, ever stop fighting. Never. I am her advocate. I look out for her well-being. I take care of her. When we were in the hospital, the number one thing is the doctors would come in and say, well, hey, based on numbers, this is what should happen. I'm like, okay, well, those are numbers. Like, I appreciate the numbers, but I'm her mother. I'm with her every single day, and I know her behavior. So I fought and I fought and I fought constantly. It was tiring. It was exhausting. But in the end, it got her home. Everything was good. She didn't have to go through unnecessary pain. So don't stop fighting. And don't give up. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. And even when, I thought that she wasn't going to come home and she wasn't going to be our baby, she was just going to be a painful memory, we fought. We didn't give up. When I didn't like what one doctor had to say, I found another. I mean, honestly, that sounds mean, but that's what you have to do. And actually, that doctor is the one that gave us hope and told us, oh, this is not as bad as we thought. She actually is going to be okay. She's going to survive this. So, just don't give up. It's hard. It's horrible. Nobody wants to hear that ever about whether you're pregnant or you have a 60-year-old kid. Nobody ever wants to hear that, or your significant other, whoever. Those are news you never want to hear. But the important thing is not to give up. Like, this is, it's not ideal, but this is what you have to deal with, and you just need to fight and be strong.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. I know that there's so many that are, you're not the only one. Like you said, there's support groups out there.
Yes.
You had that support group. There's other ones with the different specific diseases that they have. There's also, we created Military Home Base, which are on that page, so that you can connect with people that are like us, that are just military, dealing with trying to find a new doctor every time you move. And going through the emotion roller coaster of, we're not alone. You're not in this by yourself. We're in this together. We're stronger when we're together. Military hearts do matter.
Absolutely.
Baby Nova's heart does matter to us very, very much. I'm a firm believer that you should join the American Heart Association everywhere you go. Walk the walk when they do their heart walk every year. Have small fundraisers. I mean, I have one right now going on with a girlfriend of mine. A girlfriend of mine. We have a fundraiser that goes on. It doesn't matter about the dollar amount. It matters about educating.
Absolutely.
And teaching them, this is real. This actually does happen. And there's all kinds of other things that you can do, and we'll keep talking about this every day this week. Is there anything that you want anyone to do, Liz, before we sign off today?
Just get educated. It's more common than you think. People think that heart disease only affects old people. No, that's not true at all. It affects everybody, and it's more common. I guarantee anybody that's watching right now, I guarantee you know someone who is affected by heart disease in some way or has been affected. Family member, friend. It is so much more common. So just get educated and be proactive.
Well, thank you. Thank you again.
Thank
I
you so
love you
much.
very much,
Oh, I love you.
Nova. And I really appreciate you taking your time sharing your story with everyone.
Absolutely.
For
Thank
the
you for
first time.
having me.
For the first time, too. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have a blessed day.
Thank
Give
you
that
so
baby some
much.
lovin's for Holly.
Come in.
And
Let's play
thank
some
y'all for
basketball.
joining me. Again, I'm Holly with Military Home Base, and I'm bringing you live this week talking about heart disease. Come join me tomorrow. Thanks.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, Nova. Bye. Pull her up real quick so you can see. There you go. Ah, there's our little heart warrior. Ah, he's so sweet. Bye-bye.
Bye.